Good morning, guys. It's Nick from PS. I hope you're all well. Thanks once again for coming back to my channel. Always great to know you're out there listening. I am always very, very grateful for that. So thank you for the support. And basically, guys, I wanted to jump on today to have a talk with you. There's a lot of news out there in the markets. The number one being that Ripple has decided to cross appeal with the SEC, and I'm not going to talk about that today. Every channel under the sun is doing that one, and as much as I am very bullish at the fact that they're doing it, it has to be done. And as much as I think everyone in crypto should be on their knees thanking Ripple for this stalwart fight with the SEC on behalf of everyone in crypto, it's already going to be covered, guys. You'll have seen it from some of the bigger channels than me. And I'm far more bullish about something else today anyway. So I wanted to talk about something slightly different. I don't have too much time. It's Friday. I'm out to play golf in an hour or so. So I just want to jump onto this and show you why I'm so bullish about the news in the markets this last couple of days. Before we get into it, as ever, you know me by now. I'm Nick. I am a financial advisor, but I'm absolutely not your financial advisor. I couldn't possibly be, because I don't know you, you don't know me, I don't know any of the circumstances, and we've not done any of those legal documents that mean I'm your financial advisor. So until that point, I couldn't possibly give you any financial advice. Instead, this is just me, a bloke on the internet, sharing my thoughts and opinions and feelings in the hope that it brings you some value. And I really hope that it does. So once again, guys, if you do like what I say today, please punch that like button. It really does help with Google's algorithms, with YouTube's algorithms. It helps me to promote the videos and to know that you guys are listening and you like what I say. If you don't like what I say, tell me, drop me a comment. That's always well appreciated. So where we stand then, just before we dive into the video, here's the markets at the moment. Mixed reviews, really, isn't it? Fear and greed index is at 37, which is at the less fearful end of fear, I suppose, pushing on towards neutral. I don't know why, is the honest answer. I think Bitcoin's in for a little bit of a wobble in the next week or two. I might be wrong on that. I'm not a technical analysis guy, really, but I see signs. I think Bitcoin might be in for a little bit of a wobble. I actually sold my Bitcoin this week. I don't hold a lot of it anyway. It was about 13 million Satoshis or something like that. So maybe 30 million between the two accounts. But yeah, whatever it was, it was enough to buy me a couple $1,000 worth of other things. Not because I think Bitcoin is necessarily going to go down, more because I think other projects are going to see bigger returns on investment moving forwards. And that's simple economies of scale, isn't it? Bitcoin is already a very valuable asset. The more valuable something gets, the less room it's got for growth. So I picked a few projects that I have absolutely no personal feelings for. I did a bit of research on X. I looked at some of the people that I follow, some of the smart people in this sector, in the community, and I decided to buy 2 or 3 different coins to see how they did, is the honest answer. I've got no personal feelings with them. So, I did buy a few more XRP. I bought a couple thousand XRP, to be honest. But then the other stuff went into Ondo, it went into Oasis, and it went into Sweet. And no real reason for it. Oh, I bought some Render as well. But Render and XRP are the two that I tend to buy. But in terms of that, no feelings for them. I want them to make me some money, and I'm going to cash them in when I think we're at the top of this market. I may well cash in some of my bigger holdings as well, but I have grown attached to them, and I don't think whatever price we hit this time, I don't believe will be my target price. So I'm in it for at least another 5 years, and I don't mind round tripping because I don't need this money anytime soon. I might cash some in just with the thought to then move it back in. It will be held in stable coins if I do that. Probably RLUSD if there's such thing by the time we boom. I suspect there will be. Maybe USDC, maybe not Tether, to be honest. I'm concerned about Tether, but that's a different conversation for a different day. So going back, where are we? Bitcoin's at $60,604, which is ever so slightly down in 24 hours, but recovered a bit back in the last hour or so. Ethereum, same thing, about 2407, it's marginally up. Tether, I don't care about Tether, going through. Solana, 1% up 24 hours. XRP, 1.28, or much of a muchness, isn't it? 1% up, 1% down seems to be about the biggest swing between the lot. So nothing really to report on there. So what is it that's got me so buoyant in the markets? And it's this story here. Ripple brings bank grade custody solution to crypto businesses. So this is from Ripple themselves. I'll read you this article just so you can see what it's talking about in the main. But today, Ripple, the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure, announced the launch of new features and functionality to Ripple Custody. That's the bit I like, Ripple Custody, bringing the benefits of its market-leading bank-grade custody technology to fintechs and crypto natives. The latest update includes a transaction screening service integration, added hardware security module options, and XRPL integration for tokenizing real-world assets. I'll read that again, an XRPL integration for tokenizing real-world assets. And then pre-configured policy frameworks and improvements to the platform's usability and user interface. So Ripple Custody delivers the foundational capability for customers to build and scale new business models in the digital asset economy by providing mission-critical software infrastructure to secure, transfer, and settle any type of tokenized financial asset. Now, this one, it goes through, it tells you a little bit more about what they have available. I would strongly suggest you jump on and read the article from Ripple. I'll drop the link in the comments below, in fact. But basically, it's not so much this article that got me excited. It's the way people are talking about this. And I don't mean people like you and I mean the people from Ripple. I mean a post from Monica Long. So Ripple Custody is the de facto tech used by the biggest banks in the world, including DBS, SocGen, Forge, and BBVA. Now we're adding pre-configured operational and policy frameworks, additional HSM options, XRPL, fungible token support, and compliance services via Elliptic, bringing this enterprise-grade product to crypto businesses. So again, doesn't tell you an awful lot unless you read between the lines, unless you know the situation. But this is getting people really excited. This is Crypto Insights UK. If you don't follow this guy, give him a follow, by the way. He's great. He comes up with some really good information. And what he put is mad that Ripple are saying now that all the banks they provide custody for will have direct access to tokenize, brackets, whatever they want on the XRPL. And we in the community are too salty to get bullish. Wake up, guys. It's happening. That's really interesting, right? Because he's right. No one seems to be jumping on this. No one is getting excited about this. Going back here, Ripple are being typically Ripple. They're being a little bit coy with what they release and how they release it. Let's be honest, they're undergoing a major lawsuit. They can't let everything out. They mentioned a couple of banks here that we already know about. We are all of the belief that there are tens, if not hundreds, more banks who have these agreements in place with Ripple, but they're still under, well, they're basically, we can't talk about them. Ripple won't tell us who. There's non-disclosure agreements that mean we can't see. Well, you know, some of the haters out there will go, wow, that means they've only got 3 agreements in place. They're just being, you know, they're just trying to play you on. Maybe. Can't prove it, but I doubt it. I don't think Ripple gets to be where Ripple is under those circumstances. So going back, what does it really mean? I don't want to tell you what Ripple say it means or what other people think it means. I'm with Crypto Insights UK on this. I'm massively bullish. I think it's an amazing move they've made. They've been making this for a while, but they're now coming out making the announcements. And the big point is that tokenization side of things and custodial side of things. It's possible that this, it's in its early stages right now, but the evolution of this could lead to banks utilizing Ripple Custody to custodize crypto assets on behalf of their clients without actually holding those assets on their balance sheet. Now, I don't know if that's me taking a leap too far with guessing where it's going to go, I suppose, but it's perfectly feasible to think that might happen. And if that happens, what that means is the major problem with banks is the SAB 121 ruling, where anything they hold in custody for clients crypto-wise has to be held on balance, as opposed to off balance, where they hold almost everything else they custodize for clients. So it means that banks have to have money set aside to match the custodial monies they have in crypto for clients, which is highly non-profitable for the banks. Unprofitable, improfitable, whatever the word is for it, screws them over and they lose money on the deal. They can make more money elsewhere. So what you find is banks aren't willing to offer custody services to people, and that means that in the main, people don't go out and buy crypto. 99% of the people on Earth, Joe Blogs out there in the street, they don't buy crypto. We get excited about ETFs because ETFs mean that people that are non-crypto people can buy crypto, right? I work in the financial sector, personal finance on behalf of family office really, but personal clients to a certain degree. And I'll be honest with you, most people out there don't buy ETFs. We talk about ETFs going mainstream, going retail. ETFs, if you survey, maybe through pensions, people hold ETFs. Most people out there don't have a bank account linked to, 4 or 5 ETF holdings. Most people still don't buy stocks. It's the 20%. It's the top 20%, the more savvy 20%. Most people, if I walked into my local bar in the UK and asked everybody around the bar, what stocks and shares do you own? Nah. What ETFs do you own? People have a bank account, they save the money all year round, then they go for a vacation for 2 weeks in August when the kids are off school, and then they start again. Most people have a pension. Pensions may hold a couple of ETFs or mutual funds, but nobody out there buys this sort of thing. Whereas if we get this as a way of circumnavigating SAB 121 in a legal, compliant, regulated manner, then banks will be saying to everyone who has an account with them, are you interested in crypto? We can offer a service where you put $100 a month in and we'll buy you the top 3 cryptos. And that doesn't sound like it's going to be changing to the marketplace in all with crypto. Trust me on this, it is. If everyone puts $100 a month in, that will phenomenally change the landscape forever and a day. That will be the day we're waiting for. Yeah. More to the point, it's tokenization. Tokenization of assets is tokenizing an XRPL integration for tokenizing real world assets. That phrase there, that's when we talk about derivatives, about real estate, about gold, everything you can think of on this planet that holds some form of value in one way or other can be tokenized. Whether the asset itself is tokenized or whether futures contracts, derivatives are tokenized on behalf of the asset is irrelevant to us. What we're bothered about is, will that value, that real world value out there in the global market space that currently isn't able to be digitalized and put onto the ledgers, will that be on the ledgers? And the answer is yes, it will. This is what Ripple are going for. You can see you have to put 2 and 2 together. You have to sort of thread the threads behind the scenes. They don't come out and tell you directly what they're doing, or they don't actively do it on mainstream media, shall we say. This is what they're in the game for. Yes, they're starting with cross-border transactions because that's the easiest place to start, but they're building the framework for this. Yeah, quadrillions of dollars could potentially come on to the Ripple ledger, the XRP ledger. Quadrillions of dollars. If we only get a tiny piece of the pie, trillions upon trillions upon trillions. Everybody talks about market cap. I've already said I don't think market cap is the be all and end all. I think it's at least a misleading yardstick, if not a useless yardstick. It does hold some value, but I think it's misleading in the importance of market cap. People misunderstand market cap and think that if something's got a $10 trillion market cap, $10 trillion needs to come into the asset class. Not true. This would bring $10 trillion and more into the asset class. Absolutely simply. And if we get tiny, tiny, tiny portions of that, you are talking about a phenomenal growth in value to XRP and to other coins. I'm not naive enough to think only XRP is going to get this, by the way. Ripple aren't naive enough to only offer this service via XRP. Via the XRP ledger, via Ripple, but not necessarily only via XRP. Probably via things like RLUSD, probably via other coins as well. Everyone's going to get a piece of this pie. I think Ripple are placing themselves to get the lion's share. And that's why I back XRP more than any other coin. That's why it's my #1 holding. The framework is there with this company. I know you can read into every company on the planet. I know people who are equally as bullish on Render, XDC, XLM. There are hundreds of companies out there that offer utilization or utility. I think Ripple are the closest to getting it right in the main. And I think this is another huge step in the right direction. And I think where it leads to is as far as we give a shit, as far as we're concerned, it leads to a enhancement in the utility and the utilization of XRP. And it therefore leads to an increase in the value of XRP, the coin. And that's all we're here for, right? I'm undecided where the future goes with this. I'm undecided. We may hit a point where I go, wow, I've now got $5 million. I'm out. And I could easily be out with $5 million, guys. I'm not one of these guys that needs to be a billionaire. I couldn't spend, with me, $5 million will pay me 10% a year, give or take, with the way my investments work. I couldn't spend it. Every now and again I might buy a nice house, but I couldn't spend $500,000 a year. That's me done. I'm out of the game. Am I out of the game, or am I going to utilize something like an automatic market maker or something that brings the ability to create yield from my crypto investments? If it were today, I'd probably be out of the game because I haven't seen enough yet to justify, to quantify in my mind that these things are foolproof and are going to pay me with as much certainty as sticking my cash into fixed deposits, government bonds, structured notes are something that I use for my clients with, come with 100% capital guarantee, things like this. I will utilize some more risky assets, but I would mainly be saying this money. I mean, if I stick $5 million, right? And I'm not saying I'm going to make $5 million. I'm pulling this number out for the math. So I stick $5 million into a fixed deposit account at 5%. That's $250,000 a year risk on, because risk off is already in those fixed deposits paying me 5%. I'm never going to lose my 5 million, or if I do, we're talking about being invaded by Mars or something like this. And I'm going to be able to utilize $250,000 a year. I don't spend $250,000 a year. This last year or two, I put much more money into investments than I spend. I couldn't spend 250,000. I could put 150,000 into risk on assets every year and live off the 100 very, very comfortably where I live. I've got a wife and 2 kids, but I'm in a cheap part of the world. Accommodations virtually zero in my mind, about 500, 600 bucks a month US. I wouldn't need it. I wouldn't need it. And so I'm in a different space in that I don't know where I want this to go to, but I am absolutely over the moon that this shows me it's going there. We are going to have a choice in the near future, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, where we have to decide, do I leave my money in crypto, earning me substantially higher profits than the bank, or am I happy putting it in the bank? That is a wonderful choice to have. I'm not sure I want it tomorrow. I don't think I'm prepared mentally to make that choice yet. There's things I still need to study further. There's things like this that haven't even happened yet. They're coming out, but we haven't seen them. We haven't seen them work. We haven't seen them in practice. So can you throw your life savings into something that's been running for a day? No. So this is why it's slow to get off the ground. It takes time. But trust me on this, Ripple doing things like this is not a company who fears for the future. They have very, very smart people sat there in that office, around that table, whatever you want to call it, the directors meeting table, talking about the future, and no one is going, what if the lawsuit bankrupts this company? What if we have no future? Do I need to start sending my CV out to other technology-based companies? No one has that thought. They are out there innovating, designing new things to bring more money in. There will be a flip of the switch, and I don't mean you go to bed at midnight and you wake up the next day and XRP is worth $10,000. I'm not that guy. It might happen. I'll be the happiest guy in the world if it does happen. But it's the flip of the switch. I mean, one day regulations will be clear, guidelines will be in place, laws will be passed, and they will be able to go, every bank in the world, come and use us starting from this morning. And then the banks will tiptoe in. They'll dip their toe in the water. No one's going to lunge in with $10 trillion of their balance sheet day one. But it will be a quick learning curve, a quick yield curve. They will quickly transfer things across. I couldn't tell you when it's going to happen. That's the problem, because there's still certain elements, certain entities. The SEC is a big one. So this cross appeal is a huge step in the right direction, massively bullish. I'm only not talking about it because other people are already talking about it. I wanted to go down this avenue instead. Guys, 20 minutes in. I am on my way to golf, so I'm going to leave you to it. Thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Please do punch that like button, drop me any comments, share me on social media, Always massively appreciated. Thanks for sticking with me 20 minutes. It's Friday. Have a great weekend ahead. All the best. We'll speak soon. Nick.